Ready? Folks ready?
Ready.
Okay, welcome everybody. We've got a really Hi, welcome everybody. We're going to start the meeting now, and please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome everybody. All right. Oh, yeah. So we have a lot of people up on Zoom tonight, which is wonderful. If you wouldn't mind, would you mind muting yourselves, please? And what you can do is we'll go through the agenda like we normally do. And when somebody seconds, if you would like to speak during a second, we'll look over to see if any of you have raised your hand or if any of you unmuted yourself or wrote something into the chat, and we'll be glad to hear what you have to say, just as if you were here in person. Okay? All right, thank you. Is there a motion for to approve the agenda and any amendment?
Motion. Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there a motion for the approval of the minutes?
Motion. Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pat, could we please have a report of executive session?
Sure, the board met briefly before this evening's public meeting to discuss pending litigation matters. No decisions were made, no deliberation took place.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Anybody on Zoom? No. Michelle, do we have any correspondence today?
I don't have any, no.
Okay, and just like that, we're at the mid-year report presentation. And people are still chiming in.
Recording in progress.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute. Each year, the township staff prepare several reports, and they are happy to meet the public and give their reports to the public. So in the beginning of the year, we do a preview of the upcoming year, and it lists all our plans and all of our goals for each department and each committee. And then mid-year, we check and see how we did.
Steve Kuzlik.
Steven, I think that's you. Do you mind muting yourself? Here, let's see if we can do it for him.
1 second, sorry guys.
That's okay. I think I can mute you.
I know they muted everybody.
Well, I think since you're the host, I think you might have to do it.
I'll keep trying. I'm sorry about that.
That's not great.
No, I didn't see the red one on Steve, but also it looks like Zach is not muted either.
The blue on top, right?
Yeah. There you
I'm
go.
muted. Sorry, I'm gonna mute now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And then here, let's scroll to the blue one on the blue arrow on the end. Can you see Miss Michelle if anybody else is needing to? Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and you'll be able to enjoy the mid-year presentation from the staff and see where we are. Look. Okay.
I'm turning the screen a little bit, so audience can see.
Let me get this thing. Yeah, let's see.
What's the matter?
Let me know when everybody can see the audience and it.
We can follow along with you.
Yeah, you're okay.
We're only doing that.
Can you folks see? You're all right? Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll begin the mid-year presentation. Once I figure out how to advance the slide. Okay, there we go. So we start with the agenda. This is pretty much everything that you'll see. We mostly keep these so that folks can view this when they're online. Here you have a menu of events. So when folks look at this after we are done, they can see that. And we'll start with operation. And it'll start with communications. And last time you saw, we had a brand new website, which was Chris's part. And now James was able to get us uploaded onto YouTube. So now you've got a YouTube channel. James, do you want to talk a little bit?
Sure, I can talk about it. So the YouTube channel that we have has several playlists. One for our Board of Supervisors, our Planning Commission, our Economic Development Committee, as well as our shop local program, and Parks and Recreation. There'll still be others, but for right now, the public can go on and see what we have uploaded so far.
Thanks, James. We appreciate that. And Holly, do you want to speak a few moments?
The newsletter is back. So check your mailboxes. The summer newsletter just hit late last week, early this week. If you didn't get a copy, we have them here at the township building, but we started back in the spring and now we have the summer issue out. So we haven't done the newsletter since 2019 and so we're really excited.
And we're glad that Holly is now the graphic designer for it. So it makes the process much easier. So that brings us to reception, which is our director of first impression.
Come on, go.
I'm Lee, the Director of First Impressions. This year's accomplishments included the visitors log with 686 visitors total so far, being interim sewer department manager and assisting other departments, special projects. Yes. Like I said, so far this year from January 3rd to July 17th, 686 visitors, about 5 people a day. As you can see, as a sole department, zoning is very, very high. At bar graphs and tables. The busiest month of this year so far was April, total of 159 people, and Thursdays seem to be very busy. Total of 31 yard sale permits were issued so far. Very busy with those. And then we have multiple articles this year for the township, many of them being the Marshall's Creek expansion, dedication, and also a new revitalized 209. Next. And so far, 249 welcome packets have been mailed out. Compared to last year during this time, it was 446.
Well, and thank you for putting those together every month. So, and that culminates in one of the events you saw on the first slide, which is twice a year, we ask all the new residents to come out and meet the staff and we answer any questions. So now we're up to human resources. Michelle, can you see? Okay.
I have paper in front of me. I'm good.
Okay, good. Just tell me when you want the slide.
Okay, hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Poole. The township is partnering with OVR, the Vocational Rehabilitation Office of. It is my work program. This program started out in Allegheny County in 2016. It is a program that offers local high school students a chance to work with their local governments. We've had 4 students for the last 3 weeks. They will be here until the end of August, and there is no cost to the township. However, the students are paid by the state. Next. We've also added a wellness financial wellness program for the staff members called Smart Dollars that'll be kicking off on August 14th. Training for employees continues, over 70 hours for employees and committee members. Pocono Leadership Program, a shout out to, congratulations to the 2023 graduates, which is for James, Vicky, and Holly. Public Works and Zoning and Admin continues to study seminars and webinars.
Thank you, Director of HR. Budget and Finance.
Hello, everyone. It's Bonnie, Budget and Finance Manager. Good to see you. Pleased to announce that our 2022 audit was finalized, and again, we were in a favorable position. It's currently posted on the website as well as our 2023 budget. It gets us some dollars and real cents now. Our receipt of our property taxes were slightly down, as zoning enforcement revenues increased, but it's more offset by the strong real estate market and job market, which show an increase in property transfer taxes and earned income. So if you notice from the spreadsheet, our real estate taxes are close to the 2022, but they're below budget by about 4,100. But if you go down to the total earned income taxes, we're higher than last year by about $111,000, and we're basically above budget by $304,000. So it's a good thing because it looks like more residents either have gone back to work or they've moved into the community and they're working. So that's why we're bringing in such high revenue and earned income. You'll see from the zoning and codes, we have a new item called zoning inspection fees MST. We're actually trying to keep the revenue in-house. So we have our zoning department is actually doing resale certificate inspection. And so far for the first 6 months, they've generated about $20,400 in revenue.
And the public is so interested in what we have to say that they asked us to speak louder. So the speakers are right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so, all right, are you ready for the next?
Yeah,
one?
next slide.
Thank you.
Now we get to grants. So far this year, we applied for and were awarded 2 grants. The Monroe County Local Share Account Grant was approved and we got $20,000, which would be to defray the cost of relocating the sewer department's line on Big Ridge Drive. We also applied for and were awarded the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce Main Street Grant in the amount of $2,000 for the funding of the expansion of the township's Veterans Memorial. Slide, please.
Yeah, there we go. It's like a delay.
The biggest project for 2023 was our new payroll and time and attendance system. So it basically was in 4 modules that we've been implementing. The first one was the payroll module, which is online, was implemented and rolling with. It turned out to be quite a larger project than was expected because the system that we had at the claims at year end was about 25 years old. So the data that was in the old system did not import into the new system. And some of the data that was in there could not be used. So we had to put some data in there. I'll give you an example. We have different tiers for PTO. It's all generated by a hire date. Well, many employees started as part-time employees. So when they went to full-time status, they basically had changed the status. There was no place to put in an effective date of the full-time status change. So the accrual time is being populated on their beginning hire date, which was when they were part-time and they didn't qualify for it. So there was a lot of tweaking that had to happen. We're pretty much on target now. Everything seems to be working very well with this phase of the implementation, but every payroll process, there's a new little tweak that has to be done, which we know as we go. But the new payroll system from payroll processing perspective is unbelievably ideal. I can get so much information out of it, job costing, where we're spending money, all kinds of stuff. The reporting is unbelievable that I couldn't get before. The next phase was GL mapping, and what that is, it basically takes every single job code or labor cost dollar that we spend in payroll, and it will map it to a GL account code in our financial QuickBooks. And that is every single job code or dollar that's spent for a labor cost, as well as all of our tax liability costs, payroll taxes, our pension, benefits, everything. So what happens is we have to map every single item in payroll to a GL account code in QuickBooks. What that will enable us to do is basically it's candidates now to be able to export this information out of payroll and import it into our financial accounting package. Where before, it would take about 3 hours of manually entering all the journal entries. So it's ideal that this is happening. Took some time, but it's ideal. The next phase is the time and attendance module that we're working on now with the time clocks. That again is a major implementation because there's a lot of different layers to it. It's not just a matter of employees punching in and out. There's all kinds of security, with the job codes that are punching in, because many employees work in different jobs, not just one job. And our payroll system breaks it down to actual job function. So for instance, I'll give you parts. It's not just the department parts. It breaks down to every single part where they're working, so you can work out how much of an expense is in each actual part. And the last module is going to be the employee self-billing. Again, that can't happen until time and attendance is done, and it's for an employee logs on, they get their information, payroll information, pay stubs, and good time off. And that's about it.
Thank you, Bonnie. Okay, so next we have the sewer department, and our sewer department manager isn't present tonight, but I did want to thank Kylie Madrano, who is our Director of First Impressions, and Bonnie, who was just speaking, who is our Budget and Finance Manager, because when our sewer manager was unable to be here for several months, they covered the entire department, as well as doing what it is that they normally do. And the staff covered for the front desk, and everyone helped everyone out. So I just wanted to thank those 2 employees for going above and beyond in the sewer department, which means, I mean, I'm not gonna make you do all of the next section if you want to, but by all means, correct me at any point. So for sewer, one of our goals every year is always to try and find some sort of operational efficiency, because we don't want to raise the sewer rates. We haven't done that in 9 years, and we'd like to keep that for as long as we can. So we're installing new generators at 6 pump stations, and you've probably seen that come across on a few agendas for that project. But they'll require less maintenance during a power outage. And what will save even more money is that Public Works is doing the concrete pads instead of vendor. So no prevailing wage or things like that. We've invested in a new credit card processor that should make it easier for our customers to pay and have more options to pay. So our goal is to be as customer service oriented. People nowadays are used to ordering things on Amazon and having them come the very next day and being able to pay things. They're used to bank apps that are able to do things, and we were kind of in the dark with our payment system. So we're bringing this more out of the dark ages. So the new processor will give the customer more options, payment options, like you can see here. Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. They'll also be able to look at their own account history, which should save calls coming into the sewer department and coming in from staff to answer. So the staff is able to work on other things. This is just a snapshot. Yes, sir. Is there a question? Oh, okay. I'm right in front of the mic, Steve. I don't know what else to do. So anyway, here's an overview of our sewer department. We do a snapshot so often, so you can see how many EDUs we have left and how many projects are up on deck due to absorb you to use. We haven't heard from Winds West for a while, but, there we go. So we need to relocate the sewer line because, as everyone knows, the Big Ridge Drive Bridge has been shut down, so the utilities need to be moved. So the grant Bonnie spoke about was to be applied to that, to move the utilities. So at this point at mid-year, we're glad that pump station rehabilitation for pump station 3 is done.
I'm on the,
You have pump station 8 to go.
Right.
And
Yes.
here's the generators that we were just talking about. So you could see that that's a costly project at $275,000. But the thing people are probably most interested in is the odor control system. It's a constant goal of ours to upgrade odor control systems. So thanks to Ben, we are now exploring another method to control the odors from the department. And that's all there is about sewer. And now we'll jump from that to the Community and Cultural Center. So the Community and Cultural Center, Holly Dennis will take us through the next few things.
Hello, so this remains the same, just what we provide a home for the library at Smithfield, Red Cross certified emergency shelter, exhibit space, and used for multiple community organizations. Next.
Oh, yeah, there's a delay. Sorry about that.
Just some of the organizations we partner with, our mission, you can keep going. It's
Sorry.
listed up other places.
Okay.
Keep going.
So-
Our goal, local artists, photographers, educational resources, local events, cultivate a sense of community. We're always looking for different organizations to partner with. Next. So far, we have 30 single events and 5 recurring events, which are either weekly or monthly, booked as of July 1st. And like I said, we're booking more events with different organizations weekly, so that calendar will keep growing. Again, just some of the organizations that we partner with frequently. This is an updated list for 2023 so far. Next. Some of our events, we hosted the Master Gardeners, we had a paint and sip for the Pink Lake Walk. We did a rededication for the Veterans Memorial that was currently there, that was the Eagle Scout project, the Women's History Month exhibit, and Person of the Year. Some more upcoming exhibits in August is the Flood of 55. In September, Trisha Lippert, who coordinated the Women's History Month exhibit, is going to be doing another exhibit with more local artists. October is the Marshall Street Mastodon Fossil Day. In December, the same group that did the quilt show last August is going to be doing a holiday quilt show, and they'll also be having some older toys and gingerbread houses on display as well. And then so far for next year, we have a Black History Month exhibit by Tanya Little, and in March, the Women's History Month exhibit is going to be back. Just a list of upcoming events, the summer reading program. Tomorrow, Peak is going to be doing a Above and Beyond program in partnership with the library, and Saturday, the Penn State Master Gardeners will be there with the class on hydrangeas. But you can see that it's pretty busy time coming up. And then you might remember we mentioned the kiosks that we got with the grant for the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau. The interactive kiosks are being installed. This should be finished early next week, so they will be able to be used shortly. And at the preview, we announced that we were applying for the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau grant to expand Veterans Memorial, and we were awarded it. So we are beginning to work with local veterans organizations to do that. We are going to be doing hometown hero banners. We have pavers that we are working on. There's going to be some landscaping with hobbies, and then we also have the statue that's pictured that will be going up. And then Annette, do you want to talk about?
No, you can.
Well, solar panels.
Oh.
I don't know much about that.
Yeah, so, we're getting closer to actually having the installer install them. Uh,
And so we applied for a grant for DCED for just more improvements. And we acquired some Smithsonian poster exhibits that can be posted at the community center and near the township as well. So that is also in progress.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. And now Christopher will take us through golf.
Great, so, hi for everybody who's on Zoom, my name is Chris Rain, I'm the liaison for the golf committee. This is an update from, Todd Brown, who's our golf manager, who is not with us tonight. But basically, it's been a pretty busy year, our runs have been up, 5% in the first half of the season. And a 5.5% increase in revenue. The rise in runs can be attributed to a number of factors, including, good weather, good prices, and, other people from other areas coming back to Poconos now that COVID has died down. There are still some challenges, lack of rain was a big problem for our irrigation at the golf course for a while this spring. We have had a lot of rain since then, so that has definitely gotten better, but it was an issue that we were contending with for a little while. So every year we have our goals, it's been 5 is our goals for the year: to increase runs and play by 5%, increase revenue by 5%, and reduce expenses by 5%. And so far this year, we're hitting all three of those goals. Runs are up by 5%, revenues up by 5.5%, and expenses are down by 7.5%. We also have a general goal of 15,000 rounds in a year. Currently, Todd estimates between 12,000 and 12,500 rounds for this season. We are also still continuing to have our Friday night scramble, which has been very successful with 12 to 16 golfers each week. He does different contests. There are usually 1 to 3 winning teams. He also has been doing leagues for different groups to try to get more play, including tavern and business. And I think he was trying to start a teachers league, which didn't really work out. So he's been doing a discount for teachers instead.
Nice.
We also always try to bring in nonprofit organizations to have their golf tournaments to raise funds. At the CCP this year, we had the Dollar Golf Tournament in June, and we have the Marshall Street Fire Company Golf Tournament scheduled for September 30th. We also continue to do our marketing. We have various magazines and websites that we're on. We've been doing e-blasts to an email list of about 11,000 people who are recent golfers at the golf course, which has been very successful in helping get people out for our Memorial Day event that we've had, our 4th of July, and I also did some for Friday night scramble and our $25 Tuesdays, which increased play for those as well, and we plan on continuing to do that for the rest of the season. We've also done our usual things like website, social media, banners, flyers, etc. There's also been a lot of interaction on the website for the first half of the season. There's been pretty big increases in visitation and page views on the CCP website, including a 26% increase specifically on the T booking page for the first half of the season versus the same period last year. And as I mentioned before, a 5% increase in rounds played for the year.
Okay, so sealed bids are due August 23rd. Our golf course and banquet hall are out for bid. And that brings us to zoning. Miss Vicky Smith.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Vicki Smith. I am the zoning clerk. So in 2023, we had Mid-year check-in, next.
Whoops. Right, here we go.
So, in 2023, we had three new ordinances that have been adopted, and, the revised zoning ordinance will be adopted this year.
I think Pat just went pale.
I'll do my best.
It's on. It's down in writing, so you have to do it.
It's on the
I
slide.
see that.
Next.
Just delete slide number 29.
Figure that out.
All right, so let's check in with our permitting system, Tracer. Our new permitting system has been in operational since November of 2022. We're adding more and more to the system to streamline the process for the residents. On our radar is the citizens portal, and residents and contractors will have the ability to check the status of their permits online. Next. Our overall goal is to regularly patrol heavily trafficked routes and deal with the problem properties and maintain a beautiful business corridor.
Do you think the property maintenance ordinance might help with that?
I think the property maintenance ordinance is a wonderful thing to help with that.
Well, glad to hear it. Glad to hear that we.
In 2017, MST adopted the resale use and occupancy ordinance. We're currently reaching out to the real estate agents and informing them that when they have properties that are going up to sale, that they need a clear CO or use and occupancy certificate.
And this is your specialty.
That's me. So from January 2023 to today, the zoning office has issued 198 use and occupancy certificates, which you can see it's very compatible to the last 3 years.
And the numbers you have for the last 3 years are also from January 1st to July 27th,
yes.
right? So you're comparing apples.
We
to
are
apples.
comparing apples to apples, yes.
Okay. Very good.
And as you can see, the year-to-date number of permits issued and the different types of permits issued will all remain consistent. And that again is from January 1 to July 27. Okay, next. Then we come to short-term rentals. Short-term rentals are still big in the township, and with the ordinance that passed in 2017, the number of complaints have decreased immensely. The annual renewal date is for short-term rentals is October 31st of every year. So every year, each individual short-term rental has to renew, and so far since October 22nd, 2022, we have 144 properties licensed and operating in the township.
Yeah, I apologize. This does not look like the most.
That is
updated
not the
slide.
right page.
So we'll update that before that goes live. Okay, planning, which is also you.
Which is also me, yes. So with the planning commission, we had the Middle Smithfield Town Planning Commission has reviewed and or provided recommendations to the Board of Supervisors on 3 so far, and it should be more. We had the personal care facility, Marshall Square Shopping Center, and the Mountain Bone Apartments Phase 2 conditional use.
And as far as the regional planning commission,
That's on the back burner for now. We are still working on that. We will.
well, so far it's just us and one
East
other.
Stroudsburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so others are not interested in it at this time.
At this time, but we will continue to work with, to get them on there, on board.
Well, thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. And I just saw 1,000 lights, pink light walk in with her pink shoes. We just saw a slide about you a while ago. Thank you. All right, so legal, we're back to Michelle Cruel for legal.
On the new website, you can see that if you go into the website and you go in under government, and you'll see on the far right where ordinances and resolutions are posted. This year, from January to June, there have been 14 resolutions. A lot of joiner deeds, people having properties that they want to join to make bigger, lowering their taxes. And we've had 2 ordinances passed in 2023 as of date. Alarm systems, which are false alarms, that the fire department has to show up to a property, whether it's residential or commercial. It's almost like 3 strikes and you will pay a fine. So the fire company sends me a report. Letters will go out to the property owner, just to let them know, you know, they had to respond, this is your first offense, or this is your second offense. Third offense, you're going to start, you will be fined $150. The second ordinance that was passed, as everyone knows, is the property maintenance ordinance that was just recent.
Do you want to talk about any of the resolutions?
Resolutions,
There's an awful lot.
amending child protective clearance policy based on the law changing for staff and committee members. You know, if you are going to be working with children more than 2 times in 1 year, it's required that background checks are received. And it's not just the state, it's FBI fingerprinting as well. We've got the 2023 sewage fee schedule, again, joiner deeds, disposition of records. There's, under the law, the state requires resolutions to be created when any documents are destroyed. So that is the disposition of records, a couple of times this year so far. That's it.
Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for maintaining that. That brings us to another part of our legal, which Christopher Rain is also our right to know officer.
So right to know continues to be pretty busy. These numbers are as of about 3 weeks ago at the beginning of July, so they are higher than that now. But as of the middle of the year, I have received 117 requests. 110 of them were completed in the 5 business day deadline. Only 7 had to be extended by 30 days for various reasons. Whether they're granted, denied, partially granted and denied are pretty evenly split. And as usual, it's the vast majority are property zoning related questions with a smattering of others for different departments.
Thank you, Chris. And I'm always impressed with how many he gets done in 5 days, because he can automatically ask for a 30-day extension, but he rarely does it. So kudos to you. And that brings us to emergency preparedness. It's on the way. Mike, did you have anything about radios that you wanted to talk about? Anything?
No, the townships are funded. The fire departments, Marshall Creek and Brookfield, for the radios. I understand that the county commissioners have still not provided their funds to the fire department, apparently making it as difficult as possible to get the money out of the counties. So that's the last I heard.
And that brings us to Public Works and Rachel Heller, who manages the Public Works Department.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm the administrator for Public Works. So far you can see up there, we've had pretty busy first half of the year. Currently, our big project is the Village Drive Bridge replacement. We're in the construction phase of that. And the new salt storage that is almost complete. We're waiting for the top to be put on there. And the MS4 ponds and no acres have been completed. That's a list of the roads that we're going to be paving, as well as chip sealing for this year.
Oops.
It was that one.
There we go.
That's just more on the Village Drive, bridge project. It started, officially the road was closed, June 12th, right after school had let out. And our goal is to have that open by, Labor Day weekend. The old structure has been completely taken out. All the utility lines have been, moved. And the new structure is set to be, set in place the week of August 7th. More on the salt storage, on the left, you'll see that's what it currently looks like. There's a layer of, base pavement down in there now. And then on the right, it's not exactly gonna be a high peak like that. It's gonna be a little bit more rounded. But essentially that's what the building is gonna look like. And this will nearly quadruple our, winter material storage capacity.
That brings us to Oak Road.
And Oak Grove, you can see by that chart, the numbers have stayed pretty consistent. From 2022, we're up roughly 300 yards of material that have been brought into the facility so far. So it is staying really busy. We were down at Twin Burrows in the spring and had grinded materials for them, and we'll be going back down in the fall to help them out. Next. And we will have our curbside leaf collection. That's gonna be starting October 16th and run to December 8th. We are not gonna have the scheduled road list like we have in the past. It's basically gonna be where leaves are out, that's when they're collected, at that time. And then our next, cleanup date is at both locations, the Waddell facility as well as our main facility here at the Township Building, and that's going to be October 13th and 14th.
Thank you, Rachel. Pretty busy. And now it brings us to the public section of the mid-year report, where we talk about all our committees and commissions. So we'll start with James in Economic Development.
Hello, everybody. My name is James Breckville. I'm the Economic Development Manager here at the Township, as well as the liaison for the Economic Development Committee. Perpetual goals that our committee has is to raise awareness of our businesses to locals, as well as our Economic Development Committee to those businesses. How do we do that? We have an annual business directory, we do ribbon cuttings, we have shop local campaigns, and we canvass the business community to make them aware of what is available to them. For instance, just recently, the EDC canvassed over 90 businesses in July alone, actually within 3 days, for our Revitalize 209 grant program, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But there's also other elements that we have here, such as our Keystone Innovation Zone and our local economic revitalization tax assistance program, which helped bring in Tractor Supply, who recently had their grand opening in June, and is leading to Mount Nebo Apartments. They already completed phase 1, but now they're heading into phase 2 due to programs like this. Okay, so in short, what is the overall objective? To get more customers in the door more times, spending more money. How do we do that? We have a Shop Local program, which also include our holiday campaign, Small Business Week, Hospitality Week, and Christmas in July. And just to give you a reference, it's not just our holiday campaign, but our other campaigns, such as Christmas in July, that have led to bolstering our local businesses' efforts. For instance, you can see here a testimony from Faded Lace that she made up her weekly revenue in just one day after we decided to bolster them and run that program and their promotion. Next slide, please. So since last time we spoke, there's been 9 businesses in 7 months that have opened up in the township. You can see at the bottom there, we have Yaya's Fish Fry, which is coming in, but we also have 3 other stores that are expected to open between now and October of this year. And that's just within the last week we found out about. So more on the way. And as we were discussing earlier, we have developments for the Marshall Square complex, which we will be seeing, at least according to plans right now, an additional 6 storefronts. So a lot of development going on here in the township. Goals for 2023, to improve the business corridor with our revitalized 209 program. That's a huge focus of what we are doing. Assist the township engineer with expanding PA American Water, and to expand improvements upon the business directory. Next slide, please. No, you're fine. So last time we spoke, our revitalized 209 program wasn't even a resolution yet. And now it is. It was passed in March. And even beyond that, we now have our committee seated. They were seated June 8th. And we are accepting letters of interest, which will then in turn be referred to the Board of Supervisors to these businesses for submitting applications. So the new committee, like I said, that was just seated on June 8th. Our chairperson is Bob Early, who represents also our planning commission. Our vice chairperson is Deborah Emmon, who is with our economic development committee. And we have Michael Coffey, Ralph Dingle, George Kuchek, Sonny Murray, who's with our historical commission, and Nick Theophilus, who's with our planning commission. And it is important to note that we have engineers, we have architects also on this committee helping to bolster the discussions for the letters of interest that they will be reviewing and making recommendations on. And now we're ready to revitalize 209.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks for a good report. You're also the liaison for this committee too.
That's right, I am the liaison for revitalizing.
Recording secretary. Okay, and that brings us to the historical commission, so we bounce back to Holly.
Hello. So our mission remains the same, to identify important moments in township history and to educate our residents. Some of our goals are to continue to expand membership, to finalize the township market program, to continue to mark important dates and educate the residents, and to build our historical archives.
Wow, that's a long mission.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I went back. There we go.
Some upcoming events this year on August 18th is our annual Memory Makers Luncheon. The topic of this year is the history of local Native Americans. Longtime residents who have lived here for 30 or more years or are over the age of 65 are invited to attend, but seats are very limited, so anyone interested in attending that meets those requirements should RSVP now. Some of our important anniversaries, the Marshall Creek explosion, the flood of 55, and Marshall Creek Mastodon, which we celebrate in October for National Fossil Day. And on June 26th, we unveiled and dedicated the state historical marker for the Marshall Creek explosion. And next year, for the 60th anniversary, we are planning a special memorial. We're also working on collecting stories and building our archives from people who were involved in that incident. Just some photos from the dedication and the unveiling. These are also all on Facebook. Next. And we have another vacancy, so anyone who's interested in joining the historical commission is welcome to attend our next meeting. And yeah.
Thank you, Polly. Now we go back to Chris, who in his other hat, one of his other hats is Parks and Recreation.
You can say that. All right, so for in-house recreation so far for 2023, we've had several events, including our 16th annual extravaganza in April, our 3rd annual community day earlier this month in July, and also our spring 1000 Community Street litter cleanup. And also so far this year, we've had 6 sponsors who have donated $2,100 to help us put these events together. Also, so far this year, we've had 3 new grows adopted. All of these numbers again are all as of the beginning of this month. There were 46 pavilion rentals booked year to date. There were 17 vouchers issued for the Dansbury pool. I think it's a little bit higher than that now. There are 15 planters that are out on Route 209, which Debbie was very helpful with in getting the plan. We have James Fall, who is a local Boy Scout, who will be cleaning his Eagle Scout project this weekend. He is installing benches and picnic tables at Judy Kutek Park. Also in 2022, we had received a $7,800 grant from Monroe County Open Space to resurface the walking trail at Echo Lake Park. That project is now complete. Earlier this year in February, I think it was, we received a $2,500 grant from One for Nature to resurface the paths and parking lot at Community Gardens, as well as purchase material to rebuild most of the plots up there. The resurfacing has been completed, and volunteers have been working toward rebuilding the garden beds. For our grants, on the left is a picture of one of the rebuilt garden beds, as well as the resurfaced pathway up at the community gardens. And on the right is a section of Echo Lake Trail, which was also resurfaced this spring with the grant money. Here are some pictures from our two public programs earlier this year. We had our annual extravaganza in April, which saw the return of the egg hunt, which was very well received by all the attendants. I think that's my favorite picture ever. And below is some pictures from our community day, which took place in July, which was also very well received by the public and by the organizations that attended. And also thank yous to our 3 gold sponsors down in the corner. Again, at the beginning of this month, there were 46 total park rentals for the year, 20 at Resica, 26 at Echo Lake. Our upcoming parks events for the rest of the year include our 10th annual trunk or treat on October 21st and our 11th annual tree lighting on November 25th. For litter and beautification, which is also run by the Parks Department, we had our 1,000 feet of street litter cleanup. The official cleanup day was in April 22nd, which coincided with both Earth Day and Pick Up Poconos, which is run by the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau and is based on our very successful event. But we've had volunteers and staff cleaning from February all the way through until June. Below we have a picture of volunteers who were there on April 22nd. We also have our 15 planters, which are out on Route 209 and growing very, very well. We had 76 people participate in our 1,000 feet of street this spring. They collected approximately 500 bags of litter off of 46 miles of roadside, which is 23 miles of road both sides. This is a little bit difficult to see, but on the map on the left-hand side of the blue roads is all the roads that are adopted throughout our township, which includes only township-owned roads, not private or state roads, just the township-owned roads. Pink roads, which are very small because they're mostly just small roads that are left to be adopted. Pink roads are township-owned roads that are not currently adopted. And then the map on the right-hand side, all the green roads were cleaned up sometime between February and June of this year. As I said earlier, there were 3 new roads adopted in 2023. The 3 roads are Deer Track Drive and Deer Track Lane, which were both adopted by the same family who live in that neighborhood. And then the 3rd road is Pool Bog, which is actually adopted in 2 separate sections. They're actually adopted by the same person, Jackie Charles, but she adopted one piece of it in honor of somebody else. And again, thank you to everyone who cleaned up litter in spring of 2023, and those are all of their names, individual names, family names, or organization names that participate.
And that's the big thing. I wish we had fireworks, but our ordinance is not yet passed. With our big finale, there's plenty of ways to get involved, and we welcome and appreciate the public for all they do. and all the volunteers that we have that work on all the things. You know, especially, the folks that come together and do the events and do the fundraisers and everything. So thank you one and all. How about some parting words from the staff? Anything?
there a winner?
Or the supervisors?
Is there a winner?
Is there a winner?
50 minutes.
We didn't do this time.
None of you would have done 50 minutes.
Do the
I think that was well
supervisors have
done.
anything you'd like to
I
say?
think it was very well done.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Kept to the points.
Great job.
Nobody got too crazy.
Maybe that's tomorrow night.
Pardon me?
Maybe that's tomorrow night, just doing
Yeah.
fundamental role.
We'll have
And
many,
we'll ask you to do it again for Stephen Keeler.
yeah. Let's see if, who else is on,
He's probably sitting home waiting, so you can all just scurry down through and bring your slides.
so on Zoom, we have, Sonny Murray. He is on the Revitalized 209 committee as well as the Historical Commission, and we've got Carrie from the Historical Commission. Merle Turitz, who runs the RSVP program. Is there anybody that has any comment on Zoom before we return to the regularly scheduled program?
It was just wonderful, wonderful review.
Well, thank you, Sonny. It's nice to hear from you. Now, could you hear us okay?
Yes, it was wonderful. No problem at all.
Oh.
Hey, Stephen was always complaining.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so thank you.
Down
everyone.
to Steve's house.
Right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
Steve will welcome all you guys.
Absolutely.
Now, right?
I think email him
Right,
this
Debbie?
time.
Just text Steve, tell him the whole staff is coming down.
Right.
Set them up. Set them all one up at the bar.
That's it.
We received a nice chat, message in the chat from one of the Stroud Township supervisors. Jen Chikaitis said, impressive review. Thank you so much for all your efforts. So great job, staff.
Thank you.
So we're sorry to have to return to the other part of the program. Let me just stop screen share. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for putting this together, and we hope to see everybody again in December. So we hope to have a lot more wins in the win column when the staff again presents everything that was accomplished this year. Moving right along. Bid award for pump station number 8.
So we reviewed the 3 bids that were received at the last meeting. Blooming Glen Contractors was the lowest bidder at $108,377, which was the appropriate amount for the project. They had all their required bidding documents included, everything appeared to be in order, and they have done a couple of these projects for us previously, and they've been done, satisfactorily. They're good to work with. So my recommendation would be to award this contract to Blooming Glen Contractors at the bid price of $108,377.
I'll make the motion.
So based on the recommendation of the township engineer in the letter before us, Mike makes a motion to award the bid to Blooming Glen Contractors. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions from anybody? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And that was part of the sewer presentation that you just saw. And that brings us to the treasurer's report.
Motion from our general account, $52,451.59.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye. Motion from our sewer account, $84,924.63.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion from our golf account, $10,980.32.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye. And a motion for our general obligation bond, $780.
I'm checking that. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
That's it.
Thank you, Michael. Pat, would you like to, under your solicitor's report, talk to us about a few things?
Sure. On the agenda, the solar farm proposed ordinance amendment to the zoning ordinance. If you recall, I was asked to put together a draft solar energy system and ordinance. We discussed at your last meeting. The board was inclined to maybe proceed with the principal solar energy system provisions, but was more inclined to wait, or not wait, but pull out the additional accessory solar system requirements that I had put in. So you'll see there are still references to the accessory solar energy system in the revised version. I think I circulated a tracked and a clean version. And the reason that is currently the way your zoning ordinance reads is it simply has solar energy system, and that's defined as accessory devices and equipment, so on and so forth. And now that we're going to distinguish principal from accessory, we need to change that definition to accessory solar energy system. And there's also going to be a new definition for principal solar energy system. And then the ordinance that you have in front of you that has been amended, you can see the track changes, the provisions that we're pulling out with respect to the accessory solar energy systems. Those are all the provisions that are not currently in the zoning ordinance for the accessory solar energy system that you already zoned for. But the ones that I have not pulled out are those that are currently in, and we're just keeping the provisions associated with accessory solar energy systems the same as it currently reads. And obviously the principal solar energy system provision, those are all new because you don't have a principal in there. So those are all new and would be included in the proposed ordinance. So I'm not sure if the board wants to discuss more, if you want to just sit tight and think about it for a while, if you want to authorize this revised version to be sent to the county planning commission, the township planning commission for review and comment. It's up to the board as to what direction you want to go.
Well, we all received this in advance of the meeting. I read through it. I thought it accomplished everything that we asked for in the revisions at the last meeting. I don't know how Mike and Mark feel about it.
No, I think we can send it off.
Yeah.
Send it down, send it down, do what they.
All right, so is there a motion to send this to the outside agencies for review and comment? Motion from Mark, is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Okay.
And that's the only item under my report, unless there's questions or concerns or comments from the board at this time of me.
No,
Okay.
but speaking of solar, we talked about that before about the panels for the center, if we could just.
Yeah, the contractor that I guess had initially been lined up, they're still working. I believe they're close, if not there, getting on CoStars. So it would be, the intent is to have it to be a CoStars contract. And we just have to make sure that they have an approved formal contract on CoStars that the township can opt into. Yep.
Appreciate your follow-up on it.
Yep.
Engineers report.
So I just have one item. This is payment application request #2 from Pioneer Construction. This was related to the pump station number 3 modifications. They had completed those. Payment application number 1 essentially covered all of the construction parts of the contract. It was just a 5% retainage left over at the end to cover essentially closeout documentation that's providing that. They have provided all of the closeout document, maintenance bond, release liens, affidavit, incentive surety to final payment. Everything looked good. The originals for that was handed to Michelle a couple weeks ago. So at this point, we just recommend the payment for the remaining amount of $6,444 to Pioneer Construction Company.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so Mike makes a motion based on the engineer letter from Gilmore recommending payment. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and there is no old business, no new business. That brings us to public comment. Is there any comment from the public, whether on Zoom or in person?
I have a comment.
Okay, hold on just a second. And who is that speaking?
This is Stefan Lewicki. I'm the president of the Summer Glen Community Association across the road on Imperial Drive.
It's nice to hear you again.
Thank you very much. This is a pleasant item on this one. And I'd like to give praise to Mike Dwyer.
Wow.
I see the eyes going. Yeah.
As soon as I heard your name, it's like, oh crap, now what?
Nah, you're good, Mike. You're good. I'll fill the board in. I contacted Mike on a Friday late afternoon in regards to a huge pothole on SR 209 Milford, right across from the Tractor Supply store by the Exxon. I had personally witnessed multiple vehicles blowing out their tires in that pothole. I assisted one motorist myself, took him to AutoZone. And I contacted Mike. It was late. It was late on Friday, maybe 5:00 p.m. Told Mike about the issue, and in the email, he assured me that come Monday he would get after PennDOT, and sure enough, by the end of the day on Monday evening, PennDOT came and filled that pothole, taking away a very hazardous condition to not only the township residents, but visitors to the area as well. So again, this is my compliments to Mike. Did as he said he would do in the email, and he truly, this is from everybody in the township, not just me, because there were people who were having a rough time with that pothole, and I'm taking it, Mike, that the construction that's going on now is the work that you were talking about that's being taken care of by the Tractor Supply Company, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Well, again, thanks, Mike, for jumping on that very quickly.
Well, I mean, I'll take the credit, but I mean, it's just dumb luck that actually follows through with something, but.
Well, you did your part. You did as you said you would, Mike. So
Right.
it got done. It got done, and it saved a lot of people once that did get done until this work is being done now. So very good. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the trouble and time to come on to Zoom and say that. That's just wonderful.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much, Board, for everything you do.
Is there anyone else on Zoom or in the audience with us tonight that has any other public comment?
I do.
Yes, Debbie.
I would like to thank them for that marvelous presentation, and I wish I was part of the pool to say how long. Very well done. And I also would like to say thank you for all of the nice publicity announcing the Lehigh Valley doctors in the township, because they are a tremendously important and welcome addition.
Well, you can thank the staff who takes care of all of that.
Yeah.
They do a tremendous job.
I just want to register before they
Yes, I think Mr. Charlie.
Hey, I'm Charlie Stecker. I'm Executive Director of Envision Housing. We're a housing council agency that serves Monroe County and surrounding counties since 2010. I want to make it officially known tonight that I am looking at moving our agency into Middle Smithfield, where my home is. So I will be in touch with you about relocating our office space down into our area and get closer to home.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Nice.
James, give him your business card. Good. Well, Danny, you're the only public left. You gotta make it a full house.
Thank you.
Right. All right, is there anything from any, Julia? Oh, Betty, yeah, Betty, Juliet, Juliet, anything?
Yes, I would like, well, coming back to the funding for the radios, will EMS be getting any public reimbursements?
Yeah, it's available. I mean, we have, I think, I want to say it's like $15,000 or $16,000 that we allocated if you go ahead and purchase them. Huh?
I thought it was more.
It might be, I forget that, I think it was like 15,000, but I mean, the ambulance was part of the whole equation, including with the county. So, yeah, by all means,
We'll try to be expert. Thank you.
by all means.
All right, we have Betty from Pink Lights. Is there anything you'd like to share?
Hey, I am Betty Enrique. I do the 1,000 Pink Lights Walk. Chris called and asked if we wanted to be involved in the community day, and I was thinking, a lot of people came out. No one really knows about what we do. So, I try to explain that we are an organization that, helps anyone in need of breast cancer services, transportation to the hospital, food, their utility bill, childcare, rent. And you fill out an application, and if you're okay, it's $500, and they will help you. And it's for Monroe and Pike County, and it's for our neighbors and friends. It doesn't go to Susan G. Coleman or wherever else it goes, and it stays in our community. So that's what my organization is about. And of course, a lot of people don't know about it, and don't understand what we do, but it's for our people. So that's why I'm very passionate about it. I never had breast cancer. I have ovarian stage 4, and I really shouldn't be here, but I am. So by the grace of God, I'm giving back, and this is why I do this. Thank you.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Yes, Julia. Thank you, Betty. Thank you for all you do. We have so many residents.
Good evening, it's Carrie. Hi, everyone. I want to thank you for making the meetings available on Zoom. It allows a lot of people to tune in and hear what's going on, those especially the elderly who can't get out. And the presentation tonight was great. I had to rush from planning to come home and make dinner, so that's why I couldn't be on. But thank you for doing it. It was great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Carrie, for coming. I appreciate it. Juliet, I believe you had your hand up.
Yes, on Sunday I was having a late lunch with friends of mine, and she brought out our township in Smithfield magazine, and she said she wanted my autograph. And I said, why do you want my autograph? So she told me the picture Debbie and myself. And we goes to you, talking about our gala that will be upcoming. So thank you for that. And I didn't give her my autograph.
We have another 500 in the back.
They're all in my office. So let's take them.
And sign them.
We can do that as a fundraiser.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell her. Oh, that doesn't
If we-
say.
There you have the idea.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, Charlie.
I'd like to ask, does the township keep a record of properties that are vacant and or available? Because a lot of what I do in housing council is trying to locate places, and even some places that may be vacant, that I have some investors get ready to come in and are willing to put houses on properties that are ready, so we can make, not affordable living houses, we're calling financially sustainable based on the income of the analyzed for the area. Does the township have anything like that, and tell me where those houses and properties might be? I know the county.
Yeah,
I know
we
the
check with
county.
the county and
Yeah.
to see the county. list.
Yeah, I know the county.
Yeah.
They're not that. Okay.
We don't keep a formal list. All right. Anything else from anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
You're on, yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah. But that really- I'm glad to bring.